watching KWQC TV, making a difference in the Quad Cities. Live from the Quad Cities, with Morgan Otier and Kyle Keel, this is Quad Cities Live.
Today on QCL, Wine at the Warehouse, a preview dinner, and the annual wine tasting. We'll get details on the 2025 St. Ambrose Wine Festival.
And as we look ahead to pool season, learn more about the ISR self-rescue program, with some children learning to float before they even learn to walk.
Cute. And later, a special retreat weekend for families with disabled children, giving kids fun experiences and caretakers much needed time to relax and connect. Thank you so much for joining us on
that
this.
new little music.
Can you tell I was thrown off by that? I was like, well, here we go. It is Monday, February 24th. I'm Morgan Otier alongside my co-host, Kyle Keel. It is Monday, which means we get to meet one of our area's adoptable four-legged friends.
That's right. Sam Wiley is joining us now from the Rock Island County Animal Shelter. Sam, thank you so much for stopping by today, as always.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Yeah, and you've got Frank.
Frisky over
here. You got little kitten Frank, who's very anxious to get going here. He's about 9 weeks old, and he's just about ready to go up for adoption.
He is. He's almost there. He'll be available probably on Friday. He is
You're
definitely
kidding right here.
He is definitely frisky.
Yes. He is
Frisky
so
Frank.
cute.
Frisky Frank.
And is that his personality, like currently, like just total kitten?
Total kitten. He's all over the joint. So
he's so cute. Like, I'm not a cat owner, so I kind of take note, like when we have cats in the studio, they're different temperaments and things like that. And obviously we have older cats sometimes, but he's just like been purring up a storm and just making the cutest little noises. And he seems really playful. We've got Darby in the studio, and it looks like he was ready to go play with her. So
and he's got such a beautiful color too.
Yeah,
he is definitely a pretty cat.
Oh, so Morgan kind of mentioned the older cats. You actually have a special going on right now for older cats, or I guess I should say adult cats as well as adult dogs.
Correct. Right now we're still pretty full. Our kennels are full, and our adult dogs are $54.
Okay.
And that's everything done to them, ready to go for the year. And then our cats are $14. So.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah, and you were telling us, before the show started, that you have quite a few animals right now. So you're really encouraging folks to consider. And I mean, when you think of the weather this week, I know a lot of people hold off, especially when it comes to dogs, because you got to walk the dogs, and occasionally you got to potty train the dogs. This warmer weather is kind of reminding people that maybe that's something I might be interested in as we head towards spring.
Or if they're just interested in volunteering, come on out. We're having our orientation on March 20th.
Okay.
That would be a great time to come out. It should be a little nicer weather, right?
Fingers crossed. I mean, March can be a wild card here in Island, Illinois.
So well, you held that orientation, though. We were talking about that last time you were on the show, actually, just last month. How was turnout for that, these orientations that you guys do? You're trying to spread the word on it?
Yeah, they're pretty good at, we get a lot of people in. It's just, making that commitment to come back. It's a lot. I mean, heck, I don't even get up and walk my dogs in the mornings.
Right.
But we're always looking for people to come and play with the animals.
Yeah.
And Frank needs somebody to gnaw on for a little bit.
He does.
Yeah. And it's not always the dirty work. Obviously you do need people to do some of the dirty work, bathe them, make sure their kennels are clean and everything. But it's something as simple as walking.
Or just loving them.
Yeah,
just giving them some hugs and love.
Some attention, socializing.
They need the TLC. So we mentioned that you're always looking for volunteers. You're also always looking as a nonprofit to raise money. So you had a big fundraiser over the weekend. How did that go?
We did. It was great. We had a huge turnout. I thought it was a really good event. So. And we're definitely gearing up for some other events coming up. In May, we're going to have a wine event. And June, we have our annual golf outing. So we're working on all of that right now. But
wonderful. Okay, so as people head to QC Paws and consider, going in and meeting the different animals that are there, the dogs, the cats, what are some things that they should know beforehand when it comes to adopting, especially some of these shelter pets that have had homes previously? I mean, obviously we've got a kitten here today, but there are plenty in need of homes.
There are. Definitely research the breeds. Like if you want a dog and you think, oh, I want a husky, but you don't like to walk, maybe that's not a good choice.
Dog, that's for sure.
Right. Just know what you're getting and take time to get to know the animal. Because everybody has a different personality. people and animals.
They do.
So it's good to make sure that you're a good fit with them. But
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if you don't want a cat that's nibbling on you, or
Maybe shy away from a kitten.
yeah, kitten
So
maybe
funny.
not be the choice. But little Frank isn't it for you?
Yeah, but he's adorable.
He is pretty cute.
Even when he's biting your hand off.
It's all right. I have another hand. It'll be fine.
Yeah, little kitty nibbles. It's not too bad. Well, if you want to check out the animals like Frank that are located at the animal shelter, QC Paws is located on 78th Avenue in Moline. The address and phone number right there on your screen. And if you want to learn more about the services, adoption, or ways to donate, you can visit qcpaws.org. And be sure to keep up with the latest events that Sam was mentioning by following them on Facebook and getting a good look at all the cute kitties and doggies up for adoption.
Yeah, they post a lot of them on there.
Yes.
Well, Sam and Frank, thank you so
thank you.
much.
Thanks for having us.
Good luck, Frank.
Good luck, Frank. Still to come on QCL, the wine tasting at St. Ambrose University is coming up in May, but there are some fun events leading up to that big day. We'll learn more about them next.
You're watching Quad Cities Live.
Help make the future bright for students at St. Ambrose University by raising a glass, literally. The St. Ambrose Wine Festival is coming up this spring, but there are a couple of fun events leading up to it. Joining us with the details is Ann McIntyre, the Wine Festival Chair. Ann, thanks for being here.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yes, we've been chatting already, and we've been having a good time, and we're about to have an even better time because we're talking about some really fun events. I look forward to having you guys on the show every year and sharing about these events because they are a lot of fun. They are very well attended.
Yes, they are.
This is all about raising money for scholarships. So just let's start there. Talk a little bit about the impact of these events for students.
Yeah, so this is our 24th year of having these events, which is kind of crazy. And we've raised a lot of money doing it. We've raised $2 million. And so every year we're trying to do more and more. And so this year our goal is to raise $100,000, which goes directly back into student scholarship funds. And 99% of the students at St. Ambrose qualify for some form of scholarship. So
do they really? Oh, wow. So this is super meaningful to most, if not all, of the students that go to St. Ambrose.
100%. Most of the students at St. Ambrose, both local and from afar, receive some form of help in financing their education.
Yeah, and it's got to feel good too to have so much community support because really it's like it's like our hometown school, St. Ambrose University.
100%. I think people forget that St. Ambrose produces graduates that stay and live and are part of our economy.
Yeah.
They help impact, the community as a whole.
They absolutely do, and we want them to stay, and we want them to feel like we want them here. So yeah, it's really fun to talk about these events, and we want to start with the one that's approaching just this weekend, which is the Wine at the Warehouse event. So describe that for us. I know a lot of people focus on the festival itself, which is coming up in May, but these two events we're about to talk about are also like an incredible time.
Yes, Wine at the Warehouse is this Saturday. It's at the Dimitri Wine and Spirits Warehouse in downtown Davenport, and it's a really fun, just informal event.
Yeah.
There's going to be probably 50 to 60 wines, some food from local restaurants. It's from 4 to 6. Just a nice, easy night. Something fun to do before maybe you go out for something after.
Yeah.
But it's the first of our series of 3 events that we have.
Yes, it is. And so it's kind of a more casual atmosphere for this one, as you mentioned. So how can people, do they need to sign up ahead of time or get tickets, or how does all of that work?
So if they want to buy tickets ahead of time, they're welcome to. They're available on our website, which is sau.edu/winefest. And they're $55 now, or they can buy them at the door. They're $65 at the door.
Okay, but I mean at this point, right? We're just a few days away.
Yes, it's
coming
close.
up on
Yes,
Saturday.
yes.
It's close. Let's make those plans. Very cool. And then you have a more formal event coming up, which is the preview dinner, and that is Saturday, April 26th.
Yep, that is our sit-down dinner. We have a live and silent auction at that event. We also have a boutique wine auction where we raffle off some really hard-to-find bottles, really unique bottles that are, sought after by collectors.
Yeah. Okay, that's super exciting, especially for people who collect wines and care a lot about wines, which all of those people do come out for these events. So tell us about the wines that you brought here today, because each of these will be featured at different events.
So I brought 2. I brought a Chardonnay, which is a white, and we're going to be having that this weekend. It's a fantastic wine. It's great. It's really easy to drink. This other one I brought with me is actually it's called L'Storia by Trentadue, and it's from our featured vintner who will be discussing his wine journey at the preview dinner. So it's like we're going through a storytelling of his background and his wine development during that event.
Okay.
And so it's really fantastic.
And we're going to try that.
Yes, we are.
So I'm going to let you pour.
Really great.
It stresses me out to pour things on live TV, so we're going to put that on you, Anne.
This is going to be paired with dessert that night. We have quite a few different reds that he wants to display, and whites as well, but they're each paired with an appropriate meal. It's kind of like a story being told.
Yeah, okay.
So this is a 2021 Zinfandel.
Okay, well, cheers.
Cheers.
I'm excited to try it. Do one of these.
Give it a smell. It's delicious.
I got to learn how to do all this before the wine festival. Oh, wow, yeah.
It's good.
It's really
it's
good.
Really good. Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Whether you like red wine or not, which I do like red wine, so I'm not hard to please in that department. Very, very good. Thank you. And then there's the wine festival itself. And that's a good, I joke around about it, but that's a good event to really know what you like.
100%.
Obviously, you're going to go and they want you to try new things and see if you can kind of expand your palate in that sense. But there's so much that is offered at this event that it would be unwise to not go in with a plan.
100%. The smartest people at the actual event will get the book, the little pamphlet we have that has all of the wines listed, and they'll go through it and see what they know and what they like, and then they'll map out a way to work through all of them. So it can be a fun event for people who are new to the wine scene as well, because there's such a great selection.
Yeah.
You can sort of figure it out that day too.
You really can. You can figure out what you like. I remember being there, I think it was just the spring of 2024, and I'm like taking photos on my phone because some of these wines like I've never heard of. You know, the grocery store that you frequent, you know, you don't see that wine necessarily there. So they can be harder to come by, which is what makes it so special. There's also a lot of food at that event.
Yes, there is. It's just a fun, really nice way to springboard into summer. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So with the preview dinner, which is different, of course, that, as we mentioned, is coming up on a Saturday in April. I believe I said the 26th. So as far as that is concerned, it's more upscale. Like, how are we dressing? It's a little bit more glamorous.
It's black tie optional.
It's black tie optional.
Some of our attendees will be in black tie, and some will just be dressed up for a really fun night.
Yes.
So,
okay.
We have 10 really good live auction items. Every year they vary. We've got some really good game tickets, I will say. We've got some cabins that are going to go up this year. Some kind of unique events that are hard to get your hands on.
Very cool.
People can go on their own, so you can go with a friend.
That was my next question. Yeah.
Or you can buy a table.
Okay. So if you want to get a big group of people together
100%.
and have this really fancy evening, you can buy an entire table with all your friends or your family members, or you can just buy your own tickets.
Correct, and you can just sit with a group of people that way. So.
Okay, wonderful and good to know. And the Wine Tasting Festival, that is Saturday, May 17th. That is on campus at St. Ambrose, and that is an outdoor event. And I don't think I've been when it's rained before. It was a non-issue. The way that the tent is set up and everything, it just doesn't really matter.
So our backup plan always is to have it in the Rogalski Center Ballroom, and we've only had to do that one time.
Right.
It's always a last-minute call, but somehow the weather always turns out for us, and it works out. And we have it outdoors, and usually it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's usually beautiful, but we'll knock on QCL wood table here for that. So again, the events that we talked about today, they are Wine at the Warehouse, which is this Saturday, March 1st, the preview dinner on April 26th, and the wine tasting, which is May 17th. Tickets, as Anne mentioned, can be purchased by heading to the website right there at the top of your screen, which is sau.edu/winefest. Easy to remember. And thank you for joining us.
You're so welcome.
And thank you for bringing wine. That is always appreciated.
Absolutely. Happy to help.
Yes, thank you. Up next on QCL, Quad Cities ISR, or Infant Swimming Resource. We'll see the incredible way children and babies are learning life-saving techniques ahead of pool season.
You're watching Quad Cities Live.
It is almost spring break, and if you're a parent or guardian of young children, swimming can actually be a source of stress. But there is a program available right here in the Quad Cities teaching young children how to float on their own, oftentimes before they have even learned to walk. Caitlin Gustafson is a certified ISR instructor, and she is joining us now. Caitlin, welcome back to the show.
Hi, nice to be back.
Thank you so much for being here. I absolutely love talking with you. This topic, I don't know if it's because I'm a parent, it's like so interesting to me, and I love following your social media and seeing what you've been able to do with these little kids. It's incredible. So let's just get started. Tell us a little bit about what makes ISR different from traditional swimming lessons or other types of swimming lessons.
So our main goal is always to make sure that the children are independent. Like, we don't want to be in the way of their skills. I want them to be able to perform whether I'm standing next to them, mom's in the pool with them, or they fall off a dock even, you know.
Yeah.
I want them to be totally on their own. So that's the best part to me, because it's the peace of mind for especially the little ones, and then the confidence in the bigger ones is amazing too.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just telling you, I was talking with a parent over the weekend that is has her daughter enrolled in ISR right now, and she's like, we just bought a house with a pool, and that's just like everyone's biggest fear is like, what will they do? Will they know what to do if the worst thing happens in that moment? And that's kind of where you get started. Yeah, exactly, right? Our anxiety is high just talking about it. So talk a little bit about your background and just getting certified as an ISR instructor.
ISR fell into my lap, honestly. I knew I wanted something similar to ISR for my kids before I had them. And then in 2020 I had my firstborn, and I was always on the locator looking for an instructor, and there was just none anywhere close to us. It was like Chicago. And when he was 9 months old, we actually had someone travel up to Moline to teach, and I was in it. And he was only on like week 2 and 3, and I was like, this is what I want to do. And like, it's crazy because it started a passion like I didn't know I had. I didn't realize that water safety is so important.
It is, yeah. Yeah, when we're watching some videos right now as you speak of these sweet little kids in the water, I mean, I could watch these all day. This is so incredible to me to watch those kids just kind of dunk underwater and then roll on their backs to like a floating position. Does age make a difference when it comes to this type of instruction?
Yes and no. So the general ballpark that we teach up to is about 6 years old. I have taught children up to 12 before. It's very circumstantial on like where you want their skill levels to be and stuff. I will say the younger that you start though, like I have a little girl who was featured last time. I just finished her up on Friday, and now she float swims across the pool at 2.5 years old. 2.5. So like the sooner they're in there getting that experience, the more confidence they have to be a great swimmer the older they get.
This is just so amazing to me. Look at that. So go over the lesson structure for us. You know, for folks who haven't researched it, I mean, this is like an everyday commitment, pretty much. I think you say Monday through Fridays at least. But it's only
10 minutes a day.
10 minutes a day.
That is so important though, because you want their attention span for one. Like, we're working with little kids. They need to be paying attention to what we're doing. And at the same time, we work really hard in those 10 minutes. And the progression from a Monday to a Friday, when you see it, is crazy. And then it makes sense because like we're putting the pieces together, but I'm also stopping every day before they're too tired to give me like their absolute best.
Wow, okay. For parents to watch this, is that tough at all? I think I asked you this last time. Like, I know you don't immediately start and, you don't just throw a child in the water. That's not how that works. But, I mean, when you see, like, your little baby, I'm sure it takes a couple days or a couple lessons to get used to it.
Especially the younger they are. Like, they're emotional and they can't use their words to tell you, like, I'm scared and I'm nervous and stuff like that. So the emotions are really hard. As a parent, my son cried every single day, and I just accepted that this was for safety. But honestly, like, the more confidence they get, the more I give them skills, the more they come out of their shell and they want to come to swimming lessons. And then like, it's so funny because this last session, in the first 5 days, day 1, 2, and 3, all tears. Nobody wanted Miss Caitlin. Nobody wanted to get in the pool. By Thursday and Friday, every single child was crying because their lesson was over. So like, the faster that I'm able to give them a skill to work with and the confidence, it's a night and day difference. And I wish I had like some parents who could talk about that. Like, this last one was crazy how fast they just switch.
It's gotta feel really good.
That's Quinn right there, actually.
Doing the swim float. So they like will swim like this
2.5
underwater, and then they take a break and they like float on their back.
Yep, that's actually my son. So he just turned 4.
That is so cute. I just think this is amazing. And look, he just made his way all the way across the pool. And I mean, that's got to feel like a win. And it's got to feel really good for you because, like you said, it's like an emotional thing, right? You hear a lot of like horror stories and things that have happened, and you don't want to be that you don't want to be that family, right? You want to do everything that you can to like protect your kids, especially around water.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's like for you to do this, it's got to be incredibly rewarding.
Oh my gosh, the end of the lessons, I'm in tears. Like we're filming last days in clothes, and like I'm crying because it's like, look at what we did, look at what we gave them. And the hard thing is that, especially the really tiny ones, I don't want them to ever need those skills, like in the essence of I fell off the dock or I slipped in a pool. Like I want them to use their skills for fun.
Yes.
But still watching that and knowing that you're going fishing with Dad and you fall down the bank into the river, like you have something.
It's a little less stress.
Yeah, just really a little. Yeah.
Okay, wow. Well, for a look at more incredible ISR outcomes, you're going to want to follow Quad Cities ISR on Facebook and on Instagram. You can also contact Caitlin online, or you can send her an email to caitlin.gustafson@infantswim.com. Caitlin, thank you. And we know before pool season hits, you'll be back with just some really great safety tips and reminders for folks. So we'll look forward to having you on the show. Thank you so much.
I'm so excited.
Yes, thank you. And we've got much more to come in our next half hour, including details on the Up With Families Weekend Retreat. We'll talk more about what kids and families can expect. Plus, it's almost time for the Adams Alliance MS Craft and Crop raising money for multiple sclerosis research. We'll get details on the sold-out Venter event as well. But first, temperatures are dramatically warmer to start this work week. Meteorologist Kyle Keel will join us with your full forecast after the break.
And now your first alert forecast with meteorologist Kyle Keel.
Well, temperatures are sitting about 5 to as much as 12 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. This is what we call overperformance of our temperatures, that's for sure. Many locations sitting at 60 or better this afternoon. 60 degrees officially in Moline, a few degrees cooler in Davenport, still feeling very nice at 56. Same can be said there in Clinton. It's 59 in Galesburg, 62 in Macomb, and 63 degrees in Keokuk. Galena, you've been kind of flip-flopping back and forth between 49 and 50. That's where we have thicker cloud cover this afternoon. And all of our locations here on our Everywhere Camera Network showing some thicker cloud cover as we are starting to see signs of maybe a little rain coming here as we head toward the evening. We can see some returns on clouds and radar right now. You open up your app, you might be seeing the rain on the radar. However, these are false returns, and any rain here across portions of northern and north central Iowa not reaching the ground. But as we head off to our north and west, we've got our clipper that's going to continue to track to the south and east, and eventually that dry air will be overcome, and we'll see just a few showers, maybe even a clap of thunder here as we head into the evening hours. So don't be surprised to hear that, but obviously not looking at any severe weather or anything like that. So the biggest time frame here we're looking at is maybe 5 to 9 o'clock for that potential for a few scattered showers. Notice those showers not going to last very long, and then once that moves through, we'll start to see a clearing sky heading into the overnight, and then probably waking up to more clouds here early tomorrow morning with temperatures bottoming out in the mid-30s, and then back to the low 50s here tomorrow afternoon. So not as warm tomorrow afternoon, but still way above average for this time of year. So let's time out the rain here with Exact Track. We go over the next few hours. Yeah, we'll see a few more showers roll through the area. And again, as that system or that clipper moves through, could hear a clap of thunder here as we head into the overnight hours. Nothing terribly widespread. Heading into early tomorrow morning, yes, there could be a few areas of clouds, maybe some patchy fog, but I want you to take note of the wind. It'll be out of the northwest. So that means, yes, it will be just a little bit on the cooler side tomorrow, but still very mild for late February in the 50s. We'll see some sunshine here as we head into the afternoon, and then see that wind switch to the south heading into Wednesday. But Tuesday night into Wednesday, we are tracking the potential for a few scattered showers. This run of Exact Track showing less in the way of shower activity, and then we'll see an increase in clouds here as we head toward mid-morning. Those winds switch to the northwest, so we will see falling temperatures here as we head into Wednesday afternoon. That's not before we get into the low 50s. That rain will move out during the morning hours. We'll stay in the 40s here on Thursday, spike back up near 60 on Friday. Then we have another clipper that's going to track to our north. It looks to remain dry, no rain or snow here, but that will usher in some cooler but seasonal temperatures here heading into the weekend. We're talking highs in the low 40s with our normal temperature heading into the first weekend of March, right around 43 degrees. So really on track for that. But you know, Morgan, you know, the 60-degree weather is nice.
Yeah.
It was back in 2017. We were seeing a stretch of 70s to close to 80 degrees.
I would take it.
We can get wild weather late February, early March, that's for sure.
Wild weather. I like when it's wild weather and it's warm.
Yes,
Not
I think
when it's,
many were, and no severe weather either. That's the good part too.
And no severe weather. We ask a lot.
We
ask
do.
a lot,
We
but
do.
it's wishful thinking.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Families that have a child diagnosed with a disability, they can often feel overwhelmed and isolated. It's also more difficult to enjoy quality family time and fun activities. But thanks to the Up with Families annual weekend retreat, dozens of local families will get that opportunity this weekend. Joining me now is Deb Main and Kaylee Bennett. Thank you both for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to talking with you. What a special thing. So Deb, we'll start with you. You are the president of Up with Families, correct? So tell us a little bit about how this nonprofit got started.
Yeah, way back in the 80s, there was actually an Iowa statewide group.
Okay.
And it was called Iowa Families Together.
Okay.
And then different regions in Iowa had their own individual events in that region. So
Okay.
Up with Families Davenport has been in operation since 1986.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So describe the variety of families that you are working to help with this retreat, and honestly the various disabilities, because when I was just researching for this segment, I thought it was really impressive and incredible, the list of disabilities that are covered in that. I mean, you guys really, really work to make this very inclusive for all kinds of families.
Oh, absolutely. Our target audience are the younger kids.
Yep.
Because we want to get those families involved as they're new to this whole world of disability services and resources. But yeah, the children that attend can have any variety of type of disabilities. So most recently, a lot of our kids have autism.
Okay.
But we have had multiple types of disabilities every year.
Well, it's just wonderful, I think, to hear as a parent. You know, you feel like this is going to be like an inclusive retreat, an inclusive event, and that's exactly what it is. And Kaylee, I'll have you speak a little bit to that. So you've participated in this retreat weekend in the past. So tell us a little bit about your family and what brought you into this.
Yes, my son is 5 years old, and when we did the retreat back in 2022, we were just about a year into the autism world.
Okay.
And I was a little over a year into being a single mom.
Yeah.
So this came at the perfect time for me personally. Wow. The biggest, I think, experience and rewarding experience that I got out of it was being surrounded by families that had such a relatable life to myself. And I think it's almost therapeutic.
Yeah.
I think I can speak for a lot of families, especially ones with autistic children, that just sitting around and just venting and talking is something that you truly need mentally. But yeah,
and like connecting, I mean, parents do this all the time, right? And you know, parents that don't have a disabled child oftentimes take certain things for granted, and not because they're doing it on purpose, of course, but it's got to feel good to be in a room where there are other parents who deal with the same types of issues, and I don't mean that in a negative way, also the same types of joys that you can go like, I want to celebrate this with somebody, but like maybe a parent of children that don't have any disabilities wouldn't understand why you want to celebrate it.
Exactly.
You know?
There's so many little milestones that's not usually something that's celebrated with neurotypical children. And you know, when just for example, just going to the car and walking around the car a different way and not having a meltdown is a huge step for us, you know. And it's just it's just nice to be able to have families in the area to talk to
and connect with, and then continue to talk to after that.
Yes, and that's just it. When I went, I still am in touch with a lot of the people that I went with, and via social media or a text here and there, like, hey, how are you surviving the winter?
Yes, no kidding. And the illnesses, right? So Deb, tell us a little bit about the weekend itself. Everybody shows up on Friday evening, and there's fun to be had on Friday, but then Saturday is really a big day.
Yeah, Saturday is a very big day for families and kids. The Friday night's more of a casual family night. We stay at we've used the Davenport Best Western Steeplegate Hotel.
Yep.
The only cost that families, we ask them to pay just a small kind of registration fee to hold their spot, but the rest of it is paid for through donations, and that includes their 2-night stay with their entire family come. It covers all the children's activities all during the day. On Saturday we have youth activities going on, and we have probably 100 volunteers that come in throughout the day, and we match them up to kids, so the kids have a one-on-one companion to do all the activities with.
Wow.
And then while the kids are busy, the adults are going to speakers and learning about resources and
I
the
love
community.
that. So they have like they have a fully separate day.
Yep.
Like the kids have their own day of fun, and like siblings are included in that as well.
Absolutely, yep.
Which I think is really great and really important, because it's just like not all the focus is just on the child with the disability. Like their siblings are around them, and their family is around them. So that's really, really great. One goal that I took away from just reading about Up With Families is that you also not only work to have this retreat, but you really work to promote a positive image of families with children with disabilities. Deb, why is that so important?
I think for that community inclusivity to let everybody in the community know that these are families and they share a lot of things in common, and we're here to support each other.
Yes, and have fun. Talk about these baskets that you brought with you.
I'll
here
let
today.
Kaylee talk about that.
She's like, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
These baskets are what we do. Is it Saturday at the end?
Saturday night at the very end.
Saturday night at the very end. Sorry, I'm kind of foggy on it. It's been a couple years since I went, but it was fun. You know, you get these bucks where they hand out money.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's still the same, if they continue to do that.
We try to make it a little competitive amongst the families.
Yeah.
They don't know they're getting these gifts.
And it's fun because you can also like steal a basket one
it.
time. And so I do remember there was a specific basket that I had my eye on, and there was another family member there that wanted that basket as well. And so her and I are still really good friends. It was Jillian. And
that's good. I was nervous.
I ended up getting the basket. So I won that. But no, and they're so much fun. And this year it's more kid oriented. You know, there's a lot of sensory things in there, a lot of fun games for the entire family.
Well, that's great. And for families that are interested in the future in participating in a weekend like this, what should they know?
Well, they can go to our website, and the application form is on. Most of the families are nominated through teachers, doctors, other families that have participated in the past. But yes, they can go to our website and or reach out to our email.
All that information is on there. Well, very cool. And if you want to learn more just in general about the nonprofit organization, the application, as Deb mentioned, is also on the website. Just head to upwithfamiliesdavenport.org. You'll get all the info you need there. And it's going to be what sounds like a fabulous weekend. Deb and Kaylee, thank you for coming on the show today and just sharing all this information with our viewers.
Sure.
Yes.
We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Up next on QCL, a fun and unique way to raise money for MS research. How an upcoming event allows creatives and crafters to gather and support people living with this disease.
You're watching Quad Cities Live.
Creating, crafting, and building connections, all in support of MS research.
That's the mission of the Adams Alliance MS Crop and Vendor Fair, happening this weekend at the Holiday Inn in Rock Island. Here with those details on this spring event is Leanne Stortz. Leanne, welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. I feel like last time you were here, we were gearing up for the fall event. So you guys do this twice a year.
Correct.
These are very well attended events.
Yes.
So first, let's start with Adams Alliance. Just tell everybody watching what the organization is and who Adam is.
Okay. Adam is my brother-in-law, and in 2003 he was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and so his wife started Adams Alliance, and we did fundraising walks up in Michigan, Iowa, and Illinois. And then in 2007, with the encouragement of some friends, I started doing scrapbooking and sewing crops, which is basically someone buys the table for the day or the weekend, depending. And then all the money goes to, we send it to the National MS Society up in Chicago, and then they use it to help fund research.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and it's very much needed because there's been more than 1 million people who've been diagnosed with MS in the United States. So tell us a little bit more about the disease and what everyday life is like with people who are living with the disease.
Well, that's the interesting part about it. It's called the snowflake disease.
Yeah.
Everybody is different. I have an aunt who 1 year at Christmas, she would be in a wheelchair, and the next year at Christmas, you had no idea that something was wrong with her.
Wow.
I have another friend who was diagnosed almost 30 years ago with the one episode that diagnosed her, and she's never had an episode since.
Really?
Yeah, and then there's people, like I have another friend that she's deteriorating. She gets worse every year, but she was recently in a study that helped with balance, and that has really improved her quality of life in the last couple of months. So really just depends on your makeup, basically, how you react to it.
Incredible. And there's no cure, which is exactly why more research is needed, which is where this event comes in, and raising money for that. So the crop event, you talked about, you started this yourself. So how does everything work? Like you referenced, you can rent a table for a day or rent it for the whole weekend. Do we all need to be doing the same thing, or no? This is for somebody who has something to work on and they want to do it there.
Yes, it started out as scrapbooking and sewing because those are the two crafts that I do. But we now have people who do vinyl work, like they make their own signs. We have people who make cards. We have people who do diamond art. That's really big nowadays.
Yes.
One event, I had someone grade her papers. She's a teacher.
I love it. That is so good.
I had another event where someone did their taxes.
Hey.
So, I mean,
it's weekend for it.
Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and obviously we got some woodworking as well. I mean, there's just so many different crafters, so many different artists as well. So, I mean, talk about how this has grown in the last 2 decades, because as Morgan mentioned, I mean, this is very well attended each and every time that you hold it.
Yes, we started in 2007 with 18 people. And our largest one, which is the fall crop, is 170 people.
Wow.
And we started out, our first donation was $500.
Yeah.
And our largest donation to date is $10,000.
Oh my goodness.
But overall, we've raised $154,000.
Good for you. That's incredible. That's got to feel really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, because you really started this from the ground up, which is amazing.
Every dollar counts.
Yes. And there is a vendor fair component to all of this. So kind of explain how that comes in.
So we have to give away prizes.
Yeah.
We have to give away prizes. So the vendors help me with door prizes, and sometimes they'll give me raffle prizes depending on just what they want to give. And so all the stuff here on the table are things that will be featured at the vendor fair, which is on Saturday at the Holiday Inn in Rock Island from 10:30 a.m. until 3 p.m.
Wonderful. Okay, and so you brought, so these items are actually from all different vendors?
Yes, they're all from different vendors. This one right here, every year we do a scrapbooking kit made by one of our vendors, Deb Stack. And so the people buy the kit, and then a portion of it comes back to us as well.
Okay.
So she makes other kits, and so she'll be there. And then this is from the Charming Thread Company. She does a lot of sewing. She did a couple of those bags that are on that.
Beautiful.
Bags,
That one with the hearts, that's a giveaway bag, or?
No, that one is she's selling. But the ones that Kyle is looking at, those are super cool because those are made by my friend Laura.
Okay.
I love that.
100% of her sales go back to MS because she has a family member with MS.
All right, so look out for these bags.
I love that.
And
I mean, these are heavy duty. I mean, these are sturdy bags too. They can hold.
Yeah, and that is from Dunn's Brother here in Davenport.
That's
awesome. Donated their coffee bags.
Okay.
That's really cool. It's
it is cool.
Yeah, it's like sustainable and like local.
Right.
Yeah, that's very, very neat. Wow.
Yeah, so this is just one of many items that you can find at that vendor fair, which also is very popular as well. So that's set at for this Saturday at the Holiday Inn in Rock Island. As Leanne mentioned, the doors open at 10:30 a.m. Admission is free, and if you want to learn more about a very important organization, Adams Alliance, you can visit the organization on Facebook. Sounds like a busy weekend in the best way possible, Leanne.
Yes,
Leanne,
thank you so much for being here today. Yes. Still to come on Quad Cities Live, we are going to do our wins of the weekend. Stay close for that. Next. All right, it is time now for our wins of the weekend. We have a special guest in studio with us today who's been good for the entire hour. We've got Darby Drew here to talk about our wins. But first, let's start with Kyle. Yours is kind of funny.
Yeah, mine's kind of funny. So, I mentioned to you guys that I don't have much going on this weekend. It ended up being a very busy weekend. So I realized at the end of the weekend last night, we're just kind of like sitting before dinner and playing with these little magnet tiles, and I realized I don't have a picture of a win of the weekend. So we were building it. This was like the 4th time I built up this tower, and every time I went to go get a picture of it, the kids knocked it down. And this was right before dinner time, so I lost them. So anyway, we just had a nice wind down to our very busy weekend. But those magnet tiles, they're fun.
That is absolutely like a kid's favorite thing to do. Do you like to knock down towers of Lego and magnet tiles and things like that? Do you think that's funny? No,
she's like,
Darby
no.
would never do
No, of
it,
course
ever. My win of the week is, well, similar to your, not a lot, not a lot going on, and this is case in point. So I'm like, become in the 2025, like kind of a big library gal. It's partially due to the QCL book club.
Yeah.
So I blew through a couple of the books already for book club. Like I'm beyond caught up, and so I started checking out books that I just have on my list of stuff to read.
Reading.
Yeah, so I really like mystery and thriller type of books, and so we go to the library a lot, don't we? Do we spend a lot of time going to the library?
Yeah, because you always take so long getting your books.
Oh, man. Oh, she's calling you out, Morgan.
Because I always take so long getting my books.
It's honesty
Yes,
hour.
she says I read a little bit too much, but I will say I've been texting with Brittany Peacock from the Davenport Public Library. We've been talking about our books, and I like it. It's like a fun new hobby that I've taken on.
I gotta pick up that hobby. I gotta find time to read, that's for sure.
Yeah,
More reading.
every day before bed. It's like out like a light. It really helps. All right, those are our wins of the weekend. Darby, thanks for joining us.
Yes, thanks, Darby.
Thank you so much. You look great up there on the stage. Thank you so much for watching.
Your news at 4 with Darby, Sharon. What's coming up next?